tell me a little bit about your experience with the Power of One program?
Okay, well, I mean, my confirmation class was the first to really start out the Power of One program, so we kind of test drove it. I was a little nervous at first because I didn't exactly know what it was going to be like. Like, I wasn't sure how it was going to work and what the whole Power of One thing meant. But getting into it and going online and reading all the different stories that weren't necessarily just sitting there reading from the Bible, it related to like everyday life. It was easier for me to understand. It kind of put it in words that teenagers could understand, as opposed to when I was younger in religion and we read from the Bible, or we read from like these kind of like dumbed down Bible books for kids, and I didn't really know how to interpret it. With the Power of One program, it really helped me understand it more and understand religion more, and kind of helped me believe a little bit more in my faith, I guess.
Did you like the fact that you could answer anonymously with the numbers you were given?
I did like that a lot, actually, because when you're in a classroom and you have your own opinion and you say it, if other people don't like it, they just kind of jump down your throat. But doing it anonymously, you could say whatever you felt needed to be said, and that, I don't know, it just kind of made me feel a little bit more secure about my opinions, even though I was putting it out there, but people could read it, but they didn't know. And so, like, they'd be like, oh yeah, number so-and-so put this on there, and did you see it? Oh, I really like that. And I'd be like, yeah, that was me. I mean, I like the in-person sessions because still, like, I think if we just did it solely on the computer, you wouldn't get as much interaction. When we met in class, we did get everyone else's opinion on things, and we did get to talk a little bit more as opposed to just commenting on the computer. And it did help a little bit more because you got to see kind of how other people thought of the program, or how they thought about their religion, as opposed to how you thought about it. Yeah, we talked about like the different articles that we had to read, or the videos that we had to watch, or the songs that we had to listen to. I remember like you had the playlist on there. I would always keep the playlist going, and to this day my Pandora station actually has some of those artists on there. I have like a Matt Kenry station, and I love him now, and he was on there. I was like, oh God, I got my best friend into it now, and I liked being able to talk about that with the other kids in the classroom, not just over the computer. It was nice.
Tell me a little bit about the project component.
Like about my project in general?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my project, I sold Support Our Troop bracelets because my cousin Christopher is a Marine, and he was in Afghanistan at the time, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always very close with him, so I just kind of wanted to do something that would help the Marines and people in the military and their families. You know, like everyone has the Support the Troop ribbons on their cars, and I wanted to do something to get the word out a little bit more and show how it was directly related to me. Even though he is my cousin, he's not like in my household living with me, still it affected me that he was in the military, and I thought, well, if I can get these bracelets made and order them and have them shipped to my house, sell them in my school and around my town, then I could get the word out about it, and that I was raising money. And like to this day, I still see people wearing the bracelets I sold him. Like my principal, he has his sitting on his desk, and he pointed that out to me the other day. He's like, do you remember when you sold me that? I was like, yeah, and it kind of made me feel good that people still remember that I had that impact on them. And just kind of being able to show people that just one person can make an impact on everyone else. It felt good. It was like, it's the feeling that you get when you do something good without being asked.
Nice. What did you do with the money that you raised from selling the bracelets?
I made care packages to send. I bought like ramen noodles and the little cups where you just have to add water, granola bars, dried fruit, I think Capri Suns, stuff like that, and put it in. We got like U.S. Postal Service shipping boxes and put them in boxes and sent them out, because I did email. I put pictures on my poster board to show that of his Christmas goat.
So you said you put pictures on your poster. Tell me about that.
Well, I made a poster board. Like, I bought a storyboard, the trifold, and I used pictures that my cousin Chris had sent me and pictures that were on his Facebook to kind of show what he's doing. And I put pictures of him in Afghanistan, him with guys in his platoon and other people in Afghanistan. Like, I just wanted to put those on there to show people why I was doing it and what he was going through over there and what other people were going through.
What people were you showing this to?
We did a presentation at the parish, and we had all the kids. We each did a project to raise money or raise awareness for something. And one day after church, we had everyone come over to the parish hall, and people just kind of went around and looked at the projects, and we stood there and they would ask us questions about it. And like, I was selling my bracelets at that point. I got donations. People would take a bracelet, but then they'd give me more money, and I'd try to give another. I'd be like, oh no, this is donation, it's okay. And they'd stand there and read, because I had like a little essay about why I was doing it, and they'd just stand there and they'd kind of do this and look at the pictures, and they'd be like, oh, so that's your cousin, this is why you're doing this. And they just kind of asked me questions about it. It felt good to let other people in my community know why I was doing it.
So did you feel more of a part of your parish community by being involved in something like that? Did it?
I did feel a lot more involved, because like when I was younger, like I'd go to church, I'd go get communion, come back, sit back down, listen, and leave. And it's like, when you're a kid, the most you can really do with your parish is be an altar server. And I never did that personally, because I was too afraid that I'd mess something up. Like I always thought. So I never really got involved that way. But I feel like with the project, it did help me get involved a lot more. It made people in my parish aware that I was there and that I did care and that I did believe in the same faith as them. And it kind of felt more like a community when we got involved, as just opposed to a bunch of people going to church.
Nice. Do you feel that you would have done something like that if you weren't involved in the Power of One program at that point in your life?
Honestly, at that point in my life, probably not. Because even though it was, 2 years ago, last year, I was still immature, and I have grown a lot since then. But I don't think I would have done it on my own. Like, I wouldn't have come up with the thought on my own. Probably if my parents came to me saying, oh, well, we want to get you involved in doing something to help your cousin Christopher in Afghanistan, then I probably would have been like, okay. But I think the fact that it kind of played into the role of going to church and believing in my faith, I think it opened my eyes a little bit. And I probably wouldn't have continued to do stuff like that throughout the years if I hadn't been involved in the program.
So you think by being involved in that initial Power of One program, it helped you do other things like that?
It did help a lot. Well, it did make me realize a lot. Like, recently, me and 6 of my friends put together a benefit for our friend Nick that passed away. And it was just 7 kids, teenagers. We put together an entire benefit in 6 days. And I honestly don't think I would have been able to help plan that and help be a part of it if I hadn't gone through the Power of One program, because just seeing how much we affected everyone in our community, just Westmoreland as a whole, it shocked me a little. And the fact that just 7 teenagers that no one took seriously before could bring an entire community together for one day.
And it's okay to say no to this, but I'm asking the question because I want to know. Did working on this project and doing it in the Power of One program help you realize at all any of the gifts or talents that you had, or bring them out in you in any way or anything like that?
I think it did, honestly.
I
think, like...
Put it in your words.
Yeah. I've always been outgoing, and people know that about me. I'm always very open to talk to anyone. Like, doesn't matter if I know them or not, but I think doing the Power of One program helped me kind of voice my opinion a little bit more about what I believe in, not necessarily just my faith and my religion, but other things as well, my opinions about everyday things in life. Because it was kind of like when we did our projects, that was our time to say, oh, well, this is what I believe in. This is my opinion about this subject. And it made me proud, and it made me realize that even though I'm young and like adults may not take me seriously sometimes, I have a valid opinion and I can back it up with true facts that people may be shocked by. And it just helped me realize that I can make a difference even though I am only 17 and I'm still young and I'm still maturing. It just showed me that I can do a lot.
Do you ever...
We really like the Power of One program at our house because it made Gabrielle think about why she was doing what she was doing, and it caused her to have ownership and become part of what she was learning about. As far as the project went, when it was suggested that it be something that meant something to her, she came up with a lot of different ideas, and I felt that she wasn't just going through that she understood the importance of it and learned a lot from it, and it made her realize that she really could make a difference.
How did you feel about the online part of the program?
The online part was great because when you're dealing with teenagers, they're busy and they have a lot of different activities going on, and time commitment wise, it wasn't a huge commitment. She could sit down when she had some free time and work on it a little bit at a time or do the whole session all at once. She put her headphones on, listen to the music. I would have, once in a while, I'd say, you know, you've got to have that done by such and such time. And she would already have it done because she knew that that's where she had the free time to do it and would get it done. And it worked well, working into her busy schedule.
You mentioned something about music. What were you talking about?
The music that was on the lesson that accompanied each lesson. She would put her headphones on while she was answering her questions and doing the exercises online, and listen to the music at the same time.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, and did you help her at all with her project?
Yes, it was kind of because first of all, it inspired conversation at home about why she was doing what she was doing. Her project in particular was to benefit my nephew, who was in Afghanistan at the time, and we talked a lot about where he was and what he was doing and why he was there. It really opened up conversation between her and him while he was overseas. What's interesting is when she talked about what kinds of things that he wanted and he needed to be sent over that she raised money for, he talked about where he was because he was an officer. It wasn't always an awful place, and if he got packages and he was okay with what he had, he passed them on to somebody else who was maybe out in an area where it was very remote, very cold, where they didn't have much, and he would share them with the other guys that were there.